have joining us today Ms. Hoor Al-Khaja, who is the Senior Vice President of International Operations at the Dubai Corporation for Tourism and Commerce Marketing. Overseeing all of Dubai's global source markets, Ms. Khaja is instrumental in positioning Dubai as one of the world's top 3 most visited destinations, fostering collaborations with partners such as Emirates Airlines, and aligning public and private stakeholders to enhance Dubai's global appeal. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Hoor Al-Khaja.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. For those of you who aren't from the UAE or from Dubai, a very warm welcome to Dubai from Dubai government. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the city and our future aspirations. Everything we do in this city is about the forward, our future aspirations, and it's a very forward-looking city. And I'm going to tell you the story of how this fits within hospitality and hotel development. And I'd also like to thank THINC for choosing Dubai for their Middle East, inaugural. So to give you a bit of a flavor, I'm not going to go through this whole timeline, but I wanted to give you an idea of the city and where it started and kind of some key milestones in our tourism or development journey and how we got here. So I would say, basically, Dubai was founded as an emirate before the UAE was formed in 1833. It was ruled by the Maktoum tribe, which still rules it today. And it slowly grew, becoming part of the United Arab Emirates in 1971. And then basically had a very big vision of where they wanted this small coastal city to head. So some of the first things that happened, obviously, was in 1979, we opened the World Trade Center, which still stands today. And then shortly after, we launched Emirates Airlines by basically leasing some aircraft from Pakistan and growing it into what it is today. One of the biggest milestones was the completion of the Burj Al Arab in 1999, which really put Dubai on the kind of global map for the first time in terms of tourism and hospitality, given what an iconic building it was. And then, the city started developing slowly but surely in terms of introducing enhancements to infrastructure, such as the Dubai Metro and the growth of the airport. We did win the bid to host the Expo in 2013. And during the same year, the tourism board that I work for was established as an official corporation to work closely with the Expo team and other tourism entities to basically further grow the tourism vision of the city into bigger heights. And we went along, COVID happened, we hosted the Expo, we hit some record numbers in terms of visitation, and we continue to grow with the rest of the economic development of the city. So just wanted to give you a bit of a flavor. Where do we stand today? Dubai has an economic agenda that's beyond tourism. We call it the D33. It was launched a couple of years ago by His Highness. Why D33? It's our 2033 vision, and that will also mark the 200-year anniversary of when the Al Maktoum tribe has been ruling Dubai, so it fits very nicely into that vision. The vision is simple. We want to be one of the best cities in the world, not just to visit as a tourism hub, but to live in, to work in, to invest in, and all of these things go hand in hand. The entity I work for is the economic and tourism entity. It's basically combined, and we are essentially the custodians of working very closely with the rest of the private sector and also the public sector to ensure that these things happen, because they can't happen alone or within one entity. They involve, support of different parties and partners to achieve these kind of goals. So it's spanned into different segments. I think the relevant one here is the tourism one, which is to be one of the top 3 global cities in the world for visitation. And we see ourselves as the first touch point. If we're trying to convince people to live here, to move here, to invest here, tourism is always the first touch point in terms of your impression of a city and whether you see yourself living or working or investing there. So we see ourselves as the first touch point towards the greater part of the journey. I'll share with you some numbers. These were actually released just a couple of days ago by His Highness. These are our 2024 final achievements in terms of tours overnight visitors. The city was able to host 18.72 million overnight visitors last year, which is a record number for us. It's a 9% growth from the year before, and the highest number the city has achieved to date. Just to be clear, obviously there's a lot of people who transit through the city. We don't count those in our visitor numbers. These are people who actually leave the airport and stay at least 24 hours in Dubai, whether in a hotel or visiting friends and family. One of the key elements you see in the bottom of the slide is the diversification of the source markets. Dubai is a global hub thanks to the connectivity with Emirates Airlines and thanks to its ideal positioning as a city. We don't rely on 1, 2, 10, or even 20 source markets. Our source markets are very diverse in the sense that we have travelers coming from different parts of the world. And we continue to explore new markets, new source markets as the years go by. So last year, for example, we entered Turkey as a new tourism source market for the first time, and we've seen tremendous growth in terms of Turkish visitors traveling to Dubai. We continue to explore new markets and enter new domains as we go along. And this diversification strategy, which we've been doing for a while now, actually helped us a lot in difficult or challenging times like COVID, when we saw a lot of markets shut down and took time to come back online. But because of our diversified strategy, we were able to maintain the tourism and hospitality sectors and ensure that the sectors remain thriving despite global challenges. One thing that the slide is not showing are the hospitality sector metrics. Basically KPIs like your RevPARs and your occupancy. We have those available on our website. If you go to visitdubai.com, I'll put the link at the end. Basically, all of this is happening with hospitality metrics being at an all-time high as well in terms of average occupancy, in terms of RevPAR. So it's really been refreshing to see that it's not just a very healthy demand, it's against a very strong and growing supply base, which means that something's going in the right direction, basically. The next slide. I think we have some clicker issues. Oh, there we go. So how did we get there? Let me see, I think I'm missing a slide. Let's go back. Okay. So how did we get there? As a tourism entity, we work on attracting the different source markets through obviously strategies in place for every market, which include both B2B and B2C alignments on how to target customers from those markets. Whether it's the extensive public and private partnerships that we have in place, obviously we can't do this alone. We have a very thriving hospitality sector that we aim to continue to grow, and I'll talk more about that in the last few slides. We work very closely with not only our national carriers, but also our global carriers, other global carriers, international carriers, and also charter flights to ensure that the air capacity development into the city is aligned with our target growth. Because we want to make sure that we have such ambitious targets. We want to make sure we're able to cater to that from a supply perspective. So as government, we work very closely with international airlines on a G2G basis and also on a commercial basis to ensure that this supply is coming in a healthy way. We work very closely with the hotel sector to both support and ensure we are also securing the additional supply that is required in terms of the demand that we're expecting to come in. We are continuously expanding global offices. We're continuously working with all the relevant parties in the city to enhance the infrastructure, because we have to, in order to absorb additional visitors and additional residents, we also have to develop the roads, the schools, the infrastructures, etc., in the same pace to promote further livability as well. So there's a lot of work that's being done. It's not just about marketing in terms of what Dubai has to offer, but it's about where we're headed and how we're very realistic about these goals, and we understand that all of these things have to come into play to basically achieve that. Sorry guys, bear with me with this clicker. So in terms of our international operations, we are present in over 60 countries in different capacities. We have overseas offices all over the world, continuously enhancing our B2B partnerships with global airlines, online travel agencies, or traditional travel trade. And we're continuously, again, growing this. Even if we're not present in certain source markets, maybe we've penetrated a new market, we activate it from Dubai, and then eventually, as the market matures for us, we look into setting up an office there and actually having a physical presence there. And we continue to grow this network as the years go by, and as our aspirations grow as well. Oh, I missed a slide. We're also in, where different cities have different elements to offer. One of the things that I think works very well for Dubai's diversified approach is that the destination offering is also quite diverse. There's a different Dubai for different people, really, essentially, whether you're talking about a different family mix, female travelers, solo travelers, families with smaller kids, families who are traveling with grandparents, different budgets across as well. There's really something in Dubai that caters for everyone, whether you're looking for adventure, for ultra luxury, for culture, for shopping, for events. There is a different version of Dubai, and we ensure that all these versions are accessible as we grow our destination offering. Obviously, we don't go looking for accolades, but I think it's always reassuring to see, third-party recognition, which is not just us talking about how great we are. We've been privileged to see a lot of really strong accolades through the years. These are just a few examples. From 2022 to 25, we were TripAdvisor's #1 destination of choice for 3 years in a row, which is completely, purely voted for by users of TripAdvisor. We were the first destination ever to do this 3 years in a row. We're very proud of that. And beyond these accolades, I think there are some really important ones that we sometimes don't highlight. So Dubai and the UAE in general has always been positioned as one of the safest countries in the world and one of the safest cities in the world. As the world dynamics change, I think these kind of elements are becoming more and more important for the current and future travelers, for current and future families who are looking at where to go next, whether it's to visit or to move. I think all of these elements really position us as a city where there is more to offer than just basically the destination offering in and of itself, but elements like safety, like tolerance, like security are added benefits that we have that really make Dubai top of mind when considering a trip or even an entire move. I won't go into details about the different accolades. Maybe I'll just mention a few. So, for example, I always believe because Dubai is home to over 200 nationalities, it always has been a very diverse city. I always believed that it was one of the best cities in the world to eat. But until a few years ago, that wasn't something we were recognized for on the world map, for example. If you would think of what's one of the best places in the world to eat, you would think of different cities, maybe such as London or New York or Mumbai. I think what shifted in the last few years in a very positive way is that, again, we finally got international recognition from, again, valid third-party sources that finally recognize the city's culinary scene and how it's growing. And so, with the surgence of parties like Michelin or World's 50's Best, I think there's finally a lot of recognition about the quality and standard and diversity of the food scene in the city, which is crucial to many people, when it comes to considering to travel. And I think we've moved now beyond importing global cuisines and global restaurants. And Dubai has actually become a city where we are exporting amazing restaurants globally. And I think that's a huge, basically it says a lot about where the culinary scene is. And as someone who really does enjoy food, it's a wonderful city to be part of and to live in and to explore all the flavors that come with it. We're doing a lot of work in terms of sustainability as well. The UAE is committed to the net, 2050 net zero goals and all of our UN SDG goals as well. We did host the COP, a very successful COP recently, and as part of that, Dubai is taking leaps to basically not just talk the talk, but walk the talk in terms of what are we doing as changes in terms of sustainability. So maybe I'll give an example that's relevant to hospitality sector. We launched our sustainable tourism strategy a couple of years ago. We basically rate the entire hospitality sector against around 11, I would say 11 or 17, I'm not sure of the number, but we have these standards set for hospitality, for sustainability within hospitality establishments, and we support them in calculating them, such as having a live carbon calculator and other elements. And then we award the hotels that have actually met those sustainability standards, and we continue to encourage and grow that. So in our last edition, we awarded 70 hotels, 70, with the sustainability stamp in hospitality, so that, again, sustainable conscious travelers can know where to go to if they're looking for certain properties that meet the sustainable standards that they're looking for. And that's something we will continue to grow as part of the UAE's commitment in general. I'm just wary on time, so I'm going to just move to the slides that are relevant to the hospitality sector, because I have 5 minutes left. So looking forward, as the city continues to grow and as we get closer to our D33 aspirations, we'll always continue to develop and enhance the infrastructure. We've already made huge announcements on things like, the new Al Maktoum Airport, which, when it's in final fruition, will be the new home to Emirates Airlines and will also be one of the biggest, if not the biggest airport in the world. We've announced expansions to the Expo Center because we aim to, eventually move all of our big exhibitions and events into the Expo Center and really be able to absorb the volume of participants that we expect, in line with where the city's headed. We have enhancements across cultural projects, such as the opening of the Al Fahidi Fort, which will replace the Dubai Museum in the old Souq area. It's set to open around end of this year, beginning of next year, and set to be, one of the key cultural offerings in the city. So the city will continue to expand, and with this expansion, the hospitality sector expansion is going to be crucial, which is why engaging with events like this and with individuals such as yourselves is very crucial for us, as we want to basically show the public sector commitment to this growth, and we want to invite you as well, if you would like our support as government in these opportunities, whether it's identifying opportunities, whether it's looking at specific incentives that may be in place for certain areas of investment and development. We're happy to have those conversations moving forward. So I will just... in terms of hospitality growth, we have been actually actively increasing the supply base of the city. So again, the healthy demand that I showed in terms of where we are as numbers, as opposed to other cities in the world, where most mature tourism cities, you would expect the supply base to be quite stagnant, whereas Dubai is adding hotels every month. So if you look at our pre-pandemic figures in 2019, and the number of rooms and keys that we have today, we're at a 33% growth, and we're still not at where we want to be in terms of being able to absorb our future demand. So we are continuously growing the number of hotels. I think we're at around 850 hotels, if I'm not mistaken. 850 with 150,000 keys or 152,000 odd keys in the city, and the pipeline needs to continue to grow. And we're not just looking at growing the Uber luxury pipeline, but also maintaining the diversity that the city has to offer. We have some of the best 2 and 3 and 4 star hotels in this city that gives you unmatched service and quality versus, other 3 and 4 star hotels globally at price points that can be very competitive at different times of the year. So we call that accessible luxury. Like if you're coming in the summer, you'll get some great deals in really magnificent properties, 4 and 5 star, that would be unmatched at the same price point somewhere else in the world. So we just want to basically emphasize on this point, and that we really are serious about growing this base, the same way we're doing on the air capacity side with the airlines. And we have different areas of the city popping up that we do want to basically populate. I'm going to show you in the next slide. One of the latest, I'm sure most of you have heard, the Palm Jebel Ali is now in action. Our aim for it is to, turn into something similar to the Palm we're currently on, but even bigger and better. We're already in talks with many hotel owners and developers to basically locate certain properties within the Palm, along with the residential parts of it as well. If there's any interest in this project, I'll have a QR code at the end of the slides. Please reach out to us, and we can talk about basically different opportunities that could be in the Palm, Jebel Ali, or even other areas of Dubai that are continuously developing. So looking forward, we'll continue to focus on growth areas, again, whether it's niche segments such as wellness. We just announced, His Highness just announced one of the biggest wellness resorts that's going to be in Zabil Park, whether we're looking at, enhancing things like cruise tourism. Our cruise segment is actively growing, and we're working very, very closely with the authorities to attract more ships into the city. We'll continue to grow, we'll continue to develop the infrastructure accordingly, we'll continue to pursue additional gateways to this growth. And Dubai has always been about the strong public and private partnership, and we know that we cannot do this alone, and that's why we like to engage with professionals such as yourselves, so that we create a win-win situation where we are achieving our goals as a city, and people are also succeeding and thriving in their areas, and being part of the success of the city and where we see ourselves. I'm just going to leave the QR code here at the end. It's there. Please feel free to connect with us, to email us. We're very quick to move. We'll connect you to the right partners, whether it's public sector or private sector, and hopefully we get things moving in whatever it is that you envision to do in the region using Dubai as your base. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you have a very successful conference.